because, that was the context that I took on after being influenced by Jim Rohn, which he said, the wind of life blows on us all. The question about where you end up is how you set your sail.
And you're good with quotes, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. The more you repeat them. So I basically live with like a philosopher, poet, artist, my roommate, my best friend, Ian Gabriel. And it's cool because Alan Watts talks about there's gooey people who are like usually like in the clouds and, they're kind of go with the flow. And then there's people that are very prickly and they're kind of like more in the dirt and they want to like have things clear cut and they want their calendar scheduled and everything like that. And I'm very prickly. If you would have met me, Eric, before I met Ian, I would have been just like all prickles. And if you would have met Ian before he met me, he would have been all goo. And because of each other, I'm prickly goo and he's gooey prickles. And it's like the yin and yang. So I get the best of both, which is actually something we've talked about a lot recently, which is probably the best thing someone could do for their mental health, especially during the pandemic, where having your own social bubble is really important because you really can't hang out with a lot of people, is having one person where without a shadow of a doubt, they've got your back, and without a shadow of doubt, you've got their back.
That's what you and Ian have, right?
Totally.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Totally. And I feel like as an example, like who knows, like did Jack have someone like that when he was going through university? Did he have someone that was like, buddy that was keeping an eye on him and keeping, and Jack's keeping an eye on him?
Oh, sadly he didn't. And I think that's a learning for parents. For some reason, like he went to Queen's, and it had no relation to the fact that I went to Queen's. Literally no relation.
Wow.
And he made that clear. What he did say was he didn't want to go, he wanted to strike out on his own. He didn't want to go where all the other people went in his graduating class. And as it happened, not many of them none of his close friends went to Queen's. The other thing, he did have an independence streak to him, and he wanted and was able to get a single room. And certainly I remember, how I bonded with my roommate, back in 1978 when I showed up and there he was in the room, and, within a week we were great friends, and then we lived together for 4 years. A couple other guys joined us for years 2, 3, and 4, but we had each other's back, and that bond is something that you can be a little more deliberate if you think that young person in your life needs that sort of relationship. I have actually heard of young people who go off to school deliberately and even plan their roommate to be someone they kind of go with.
Absolutely.
But I think the world can be much more aware of that sort of risk and opportunity now. It frankly, unfortunately, just wasn't even on our radar. And would that have changed the outcome? We can't be 100% certain. But when I went down and talked to the other students on the floor and the residents, Don, they observed the behavior that had gone on for several months. We talked about having your eyes open to that distinct change in behavior. They observed that. They knew he wasn't going to classes. They knew he wasn't coming out of his room. They knew he wasn't socializing, but they didn't put 2 and 2 together. And that's where the work like our organization and so many others is going to make a difference, because that would have given that residence, Don in particular, the confidence to knock on the door and say, hey, let's have a conversation. And that could have been life altering, obviously.